Have you accepted the mission? Your next 1,000 leads? If not, accept the mission, save your seat at the link in the show notes for your next 1,000 leads, growing your email list and business without social media or paid ads. The mission starts on December 10th. And this is for the Christian woman in online business, a coach, a service provider, course creator, or author who wants a sustainable lead generation strategy without being a slave to social media. We know that our email list is something that we own. And if you are struggling to grow your email list and get in front of your perfect fit client, then this mission is for you. Kingdom Secret Agents, we are up against a challenging target, building a sustainable lead generation system for your online business without the algorithms, without the likes, and without the endless scrolling. But you will be given the tools and the strategies to make this happen at the next 1,000 Leads Challenge. It starts on December 10th, so accept the mission today. This is for you if you pour your heart and soul into your work, but it feels like you're shouting into the void, or you just can't seem to connect with the right clients. It's like you're invisible, or you're spending a lot of time on social media, but you don't actually know if it's brought you any clients. You're putting in the time, creating tons of content, but the results and the revenue are not matching your efforts. And this mission is for you if you're flying by the seat of your pants when it comes to a strategic, consistent, and reliable lead generation strategy. So it's time to accept the mission, because once you do, you will be able to get a marketing made clear framework strategy that I teach. So it will actually help you simplify your marketing strategy, visibility, and business growth. You will have a plan to ditch social media and stop playing the algorithm Hunger Games, or use it like the tool that it is meant to be used as. Social media is not a business growth plan. And once you accept the mission, you will have a plan to grow your email list in a way that aligns with your sales and impact goals. So accept the mission today, because we start next week, December 10th.
Welcome to the Kingdom Revolution Podcast, the online podcast for mamas against the mainstream agenda. We are redefining faith in online business to empower you, the Christian mama, to find and strengthen your roar, to clarify your calling so that you can create, grow, and launch a profitable, impactful, and scalable business by God's design without being a slave to social media and without sacrificing your faith and values. You know that you've been called to business and you want to do it God's way, not the world's way. A business that is based off the blueprint He put inside of you. A business by God's design, one that incorporates your testimony and inner fire to make a difference in this world. Like me, you don't mind going down a few rabbit holes, but you don't have to go down one to see that there is a war on future generations, a war on families, and a war against you, that kingdom warrior mama called to business, a war to silence your voice and movement. I believe your online business is your battlefield. It's how you get to show up and use that voice to create kingdom wealth and take back what the enemy has stolen. You have that inner fire to change your family's legacy, to take your passions, knowledge, life experiences, or even that hobby that you love and create an online business, bringing a heavenly solution down to an earthly problem. Maybe you have too many ideas. You're not even quite sure where to start. Or maybe you've been struggling for a few months, even years, duct taping it all together with worldly tactics and strategies that are just leaving you confused, overwhelmed, and questioning your calling. If that's you, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm your host, Kristen Duranci. I'm a wife, mama, ex-9-to-5er, and daughter of the King. I am a mama against the mainstream agenda who is using her voice and her online business to fight against the evils going on in today's world. I believe God is calling women back into position, to a kingdom revolution, to the battlefield, to find and strengthen their voice, to stand firm for biblical truth, to be the change they want to see in this world. My mission battlefield? Restoring the family unit the way God intended, to bring mamas home so that they can be the one raising their warriors for the kingdom while making impact and income. So join me each week as I dive into honest conversations about my journey, tactical tips, spiritual and mindset strategies, along with the step-by-step plan to empower you to take that step of faith, to partner with God, to create, build, and launch an online business by His design without being a slave to social media. So if you're ready to say yes to all of this, you're not afraid to rock that status quo and be part of a kingdom revolution, then armor up with Ephesians 6 and put on the full armor of God, because you are a warrior for the kingdom, and He is going to use you and your online business to do some pretty amazing things here on this side of heaven.
Hey, welcome back to the Kingdom Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Durangi. I was doing my devotions the other day, and one of the verses popped out at me about being the salt and light of the world. And we hear that quite a bit, be the salt and light. But that day, I just paused, and I decided to dig into that a lot greater detail, because when I show up and I'm a speaker at events, or even when I'm talking to my clients, sometimes I use that, be salt and light. We're supposed to be different. We're supposed to be like that pizzazz that salt gives the food. But I was like, does that really mean be the salt and light of the world? And what does it mean in our online business as kingdom entrepreneurs? Are we applying that scripture in our life and business? So I started to think, what does salt do? What does light actually do? What are they good for? So some things that popped in my mind were salt is used for preserving food, preserving meat, and curing. I remember my husband saying a few years back when we were starting to prep and just be prepared for anything to happen. He's like, we need salt to cure and preserve food, because that's what they did back in the olden days, right? My father has a farm, so we would have plenty of meat if something happened. But, heaven forbid, there's no electricity for an extended period of time or something like that. We could, yes, butcher and have meat, but how would we keep it lasting long? Well, that would be the salt. So I Googled salt and curing meat. And because I was like, why? Wow, what does this actually do? And the thing that popped up is said that it protects the food or protects the meat from corruption. That, we're supposed to be salt. I started thinking to myself, salt preserves food, cures food, it protects it from corruption. So we know that salt protects the meat. It dehydrates the meat, making it, and here's the kicker right here, making the meat inhospitable to bacteria and parasites. Whoa. Inhospitable, harsh, and difficult to live in. The salt preserves the meat and makes it an environment harsh and difficult for the bacteria and parasites to live in. That was a aha moment for me. So when you hear be salt, that means that we are supposed to show up in such a way to create an environment around us, to create an environment in our society, to create an environment in our future generations and those kiddos that we're raising, create an environment that makes it harsh and difficult for corruption. Ooh. So that, my friends, is how we apply it in our lives and in our business. Are we showing up in such a way in our online business, creating that movement that the Lord has asked us to create, creating that eternal ripple effect, being salt? So we're creating an environment that is harsh and difficult for evil to prevail. Because my friend, your business is the battlefield. It is the tool and it is the vehicle that God has given you to use your voice to show up and to stand firm and fight the evils of this world. And you do that by helping the person that you are called to serve. You do that by doing what the Lord has instilled you to do, those gifts, those talents, those abilities, and do it to your best ability to serve those that you're called to serve, to create kingdom wealth. And that kingdom wealth is a tool that you then get to use to fight the battles and the evils of this world. So it's twofold of how you're using your gifts, your talents, your online business to create a harsh environment, making it difficult for corruption to live. It's by helping the person that you're called to serve finally solve that problem so they can step into whatever it is that they want to be or do that thing, whatever it is that they want to do, so they can live out to their fullest potential. And then you're creating that kingdom wealth where you get to give more, to bless more, to change broken and corrupt systems. That is how you be salt. Are you doing that? Are you doing your part to preserve society from corruption, from more decay? Another thing that salt does, it enhances the food's flavor. How are you enhancing the world around you? When we put salt into something, we know it, don't we? Especially if we put too much salt into it. Maybe there's such a thing as putting too much salt into food and then eating it. There's probably not such a thing as putting too much salt on the meat or on the food to preserve it or cure it. So think about that. What was the use for salt? To preserve food, curing it, to make it an environment that's harsh for bacteria and parasites to live. That is how we're supposed to show up in the world. How are you enhancing the world around you? That's a question I want you to ask yourself today, not just in your life, but in your business as well. Are you being bold? Are you speaking your soul's true message? Are you creating that movement that you know that you're supposed to be creating on this side of heaven through your online business? Do you have a profitable, impactful, and scalable business by God's design? We're going to talk about that in a second here, but do you? What does your revenue look like for 2024? Are you where you want to be? If not, then why not? Let's get into light before I go further on that tangent. Be salt and light. Light is just the absence of darkness. When there is light, there is no darkness. Darkness can only exist when there is no light. Are you getting this yet? Be salt and light. Be something that creates such an environment that it makes it harsh and difficult for corruption to live. And be the light, because light is absence of darkness. Evil can only exist and only be present to corrupt our society, to corrupt our world, to corrupt our children, to corrupt our homes, to corrupt our schools when light doesn't exist, when it's not present. The light and the love of Jesus. We can be a bold example of the love of Jesus, his firmness, his standing for truth in our online business. Then we preserve our society, our schools, our future generations, our homes, our churches by being that salt and light, making sure that no corruption, no bacteria, or no parasites can creep in. So how do we be the salt and light? Each one of us has a different calling with what the Lord is asking us to do in our online business. We may do similar things, like we may help. We may have a few women on here that help women over 40 lose weight. We may have a few women on here that teach gardening and canning, and we may have a few women on here that homeschools and teach the moms how to homeschool their kids. But each and every single one of you has a different movement, an eternal return on investment, that eternal impact that the Lord is asking you to create in your business. Each and every one of you has a different business battlefield that you want to fight on this side of heaven. And you can ask yourself what that is by what is that holy fire of anger inside of you as something you want to see less of or removed in this world, like that salt. What do you want to be so salty that you create such a harsh and difficult environment that this thing can no longer exist in our world or our society? Or what is that holy fire of passion of things that you want to see more of, that you would love to be able to donate to or give to see more of? That is your business battlefield. That is your movement. That is that eternal ripple effect that you're creating with your business by God's design. We get to be salt and light in life and in business. And we, the ones that are called to entrepreneurship, get a special assignment, if you will. We get to use our business to visibly use our voice and show up with our faith and influence the world around us by acting as a preservative against moral decay. If you see something that's contrary to biblical truth, you say something about it, right? I think this is where we have gotten it wrong, because I look back and see like, okay, how did this even happen? How did Roe versus Wade even get passed in the first place? Where was the church at that time? And I hear it today, like, oh, Jesus, come back. We need you. Come back. Yeah, Jesus is coming back, and I can't wait for him to come back. I'm going to be so excited if I am still here on this side of heaven, but stop waiting for Jesus to come back. He put you here to do the thing. He put you here to fight the battle. And I wholeheartedly believe that's why God is raising up kingdom-minded women in entrepreneurship to take the place, not take the place of the church, but take the place of standing firm, because we're the church. The church isn't a building per se, right? We are the body of Christ. We are the church. He is raising up kingdom-minded women in entrepreneurship that are going to be prepared for an abundant amount of kingdom wealth, because you are bold enough to speak out against the evils of this world and be the salt that we just talked about and the light. You are here to make a tangible difference, a ripple effect, an eternal impact on this side of heaven. And your business by God's design is the vehicle you get to use to do that. You get to change lives. You get to change your ideal clients' lives. You get to create kingdom wealth and change future generations. What evils of this world are you letting prevail because you haven't been bold enough, or you're too worried about what everyone else will think, or maybe what your spouse will think, or what your boss will say if you speak out against the evils of this world? And this is convicting me too. And I'm asking these questions in love, because you're called to business for a reason. And I wholeheartedly believe that your business is your battlefield. It's where you get to show up and fight the evils of this world. And if you're sitting here and like, yes, 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 but you're not where you wanted to be yet with your business, I get it. I was there too. And there's a few things of why it hasn't worked yet that I talk about in my webinars and my challenges when I show up with my clients. Why hasn't it worked yet? Well, it could be one of 3 or 4 things. One, it's not by God's design yet, meaning what you're trying to do is not in alignment with your kingdom assignment, what he is calling you to do through your online business. It's not in alignment with what he's calling you to do. You're trying to do something different, or you're trying to do it in your own strength, or it's not in alignment with who he's calling you to serve, that movement that he's calling you to create, that eternal ripple effect. So it's not in alignment with your kingdom assignment. You're not using your unique differentiator, whatever that is. Each and every single one of us has a unique differentiator, and you haven't brought it into your business yet. One, mine's faith. So it's a lot of things, right? It's your spiritual giftings. It's who you are. It's how you solve the problem for your ideal client that's different than anybody else. So my unique differentiator is my boldness, my faith, how I help my women create and build a business by God's design without being a slave to social media through collaboration strategies. So you can grow your email list fast and then have a profitable beta founding member program that brings in revenue and helps you create your course, your program, your service, your membership, whatever that is. And I help you do that through collaborations and growing your email list fast without being a slave to social media and without paid ads. So that's my unique differentiator. So it hasn't worked yet. One, because you're not in alignment with your kingdom assignment. And it's not your fault. Because there's so much noise out there. Maybe you have too many ideas. You're not quite sure which one to do, or shiny object syndrome. The online space is noisy. You have gurus saying, do this, do that. And we see it supposedly working or maybe working. I'm like, oh, they look like they had a successful launch. Maybe I should try that. Or, hey, they had a reel that went viral. Maybe I should try that. We're not building a cookie cutter business. You are building a business and one that's by God's design. So if you haven't stepped into your boldness of your business battlefield and that mission and movement that He's calling you to create and being in alignment with your kingdom assignment, that might be one reason why your business isn't where you want it to be yet. The next reason is that your messaging could be off. You're not speaking to your who. You're not speaking to your level 10 client. You're not attracting the right person. Have you ever said, well, how come I can't find my people? Or I only attract freebie seekers. They're not buyers. Or you haven't mapped out your customer journey yet. The A to the Z. Because you, my friend, are the B to the Y. That is your signature offer. But you don't know the customer journey yet. You don't know who your client is, your ideal client is really at that A spot. Because there's a customer journey that they go through. Are they pain aware, problem aware, solution aware? Where are they? And your messaging could be off because you're not clear on who it is you're called to serve, who your level 10 client is, meaning who would get the best result with working with you. And it's an easy fix once you can have someone help you clarify who your ideal client is and what that messaging is around that level 10 client. And that level 10 client is the ideal client that has all of the 4 beliefs already hit. And I talk about that in a different podcast episode. The 4 beliefs that your ideal client needs to believe in order for them to pull out their card and say, yes, I want you to take my money because I know you can help me and I want you to help me, right? And some of these are what we will be talking about at your next 1,000 leads challenge. So if you have not yet accepted that mission and joining us next week, go do that in the show notes. The third reason why it might not be working yet or where you want to be in your business is you're not clear on that B to Y, which is your signature offer. So if you think of where your client is at A, Z, the A, they're in pain, Z, they've worked with you, they've gotten the results, they've gotten that problem solved, they've gotten that transformation. Your unique differentiator and your way of solving that problem is the B to Y, your signature offer. So you're not clear on what that actually is yet. Or you don't know how to talk about it in such a way that gets your people to take action or move. And then the last reason, I think that's number 4, of why you're not where you want to be yet in your business is you don't have a lead generation strategy that is consistently bringing leads in. So either you're getting that message in front of people, but not enough people, or you're not getting it in front of the right people, and or there is no plan for consistent lead generation, which allows you then to nurture those leads and then turn them into paying customers. So all 3 of those, the lead generation, the nurture, and the sales, need to all be working congruently in your business. So those are a few reasons of why you may not be where you want to be yet and what I help with inside of the Business by God's Design Academy. But we'll definitely be touching base on a few of those reasons in your next 1,000 leads challenge. So make sure you save your seat and join us next week, because there will be a special opportunity to work on specific things that aren't working in your business. All right, I pray that this blessed you today, and I pray that this ignited that fire inside of you to be salt and light, not only in your life, but also in your business by God's design. That's it for today, friends. Real quick before you go, if this podcast has blessed you in some way, the number one way that you can thank me is to leave a written review over on Apple Podcasts. The second thing you can do is take a screenshot of this episode or that review and tag me over on social media in your stories at Kristen Duranci. And then I will share you in my stories and give you a shout out. This not only blesses me, but you are creating a ripple effect by getting this message into the hands of others that might need to hear it. And know that there's only one you. Someone is out there waiting to hear from you. They're waiting for your message, your story, and your solution to their problem. You are the expert they're waiting to hear from. I want you to know this, feel this, and most importantly, be this. Never underestimate the impact and power that you have been given through the Holy Spirit. Be blessed, friend, and I'll see you on the next episode.